to me recently where I just made this crazy little bag, and all of a sudden one of my customers came to me and said, "Look it, I got published."
Oh, yes.
And I said, "You got what?" And there is my purse, okay? And I just sat there and I looked at her, and it has the name of the purse, which I named, and then it has her name under it as the designer.
Oh.
So I just, and I'm looking at her, and she goes, "Isn't it fabulous, Deborah?" And I said, "Yeah." And it was published. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. And so I just stood there and I felt this little shock. And I'm a person who buys books and never shares them because I believe that the writer should get all the money. Okay, never share a book. So don't ask me to borrow a book. So I want to know from me being a yarn shop owner, how can I help you stop that? How does the industry stop that? And what do you do? How do we help you do this? Because it's all over the place. People sharing patterns, and it makes me crazy as a shop owner because they'll say, "Oh, I'll just get a copy from my friend."
Yeah,
that's not fair to me.
I think it's education because, I mean, I've had to deal with this, like, at Twist, where, for example, 2 people bought patterns and then one of them accidentally replied to us instead of to her friend, saying, "Okay, so you got this one and I got this one and I'll bring you a copy." And, you know, and we had to write them and say, "Excuse me, but do you realize that, in fact, by doing that, you are taking money from the designer who breaking that, and that's also breaking law." And we actually had somebody in a foreign forum who translated and shared 2 of our patterns with I don't know how many people, like bajillions. And the only way we knew is that somebody thought, one person thought it was wrong and came to us and told us. But, you know, like I think it's just education, and we had to contact them and say, "You can't do this."
Yeah, it's really hard to convey that to, you know, like somebody, you know, I'll say to the customer, they say, "Well, can I just make a copy of this? Can you copy this since I'm buying the yarn?"
Right.
And I said, no, you can't. And they said, "Well, I only want one pattern out of this book." And I said, "Well, when you go buy a CD, you only want the one song, and then what? You have to buy the whole CD. You have to buy
Well, now they go to iTunes.
See?
Well,
So now it's...
But I think this is part of the good thing and the bad thing of the internet, actually. It's like a double-edged sword, where on one hand, I think designers are finding new models in order to pay themselves in ways you haven't been able to get paid before, and also to educate people. But at the same time, there's so much stuff out there that's free or cheap, and so many different outlets that it's difficult to like keep an eye on everything. I mean, I don't have enough time in the day to do my own job. I don't have time to like sit and, you know, look at every place. But, you know, there's so much out there that on one hand, designers are stepping up and just valuing their work and saying, "All right, my work has value and I want to be paid for it." And at the same time, there's so much out there that customers aren't always valuing it. You know, they're like, "Eh."
Except if they want to get your design, they tend to value it. I mean, there is a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of cheap and free noise out there. But there's still room for quality designer, and to get paid for quality designer. So basically, when people copy my pattern or copy a design and try to sell it as their own, I just sort of go, you know, if they can repeat my track record, then more power to them. But chances are, this might be their one-hit wonder and they're gone. So I don't let it bother me. I don't let it stop me.
But I do
Slow me
think
down.
with the education that, you know, even if you only say it to one person, each of us has then educated somebody else. And so kind of getting back to Laura, having to realize she had to tell those people that they couldn't come into her booth, that
And
we all
why?
sometimes have to speak up. Did you want to?
Actually, continue, because I'm going to get back.
Okay. And Chris's point is well taken. That you just, no matter what's happening, you just have to keep going forward. You have to figure, okay, I'm just always going to be 2 steps ahead of them. If I'm constantly being copied, which is not constant, it's not ever, I mean, I don't
It's a
think
huge
it's
flattery.
constant, but you just keep moving forward. You just always keep moving forward. As a yarn store, by the way, I don't remember if it's TNA or if it was Yarn Market News, but somebody published a sign you can post over your copier that says, "It is illegal to copy patterns."
Oh, I love that sign.
Yeah,
I want that sign.
okay. We'll make notes of that. We'll tell this in English. But it is education. And the other thing, if you want to stop it on the yarn company's level of people knocking off each other's yarns, you know, the best way to do that is just be aware of who's doing what. You know, just be aware of what's in the marketplace. And then when you see the copy, don't like the copy. Buy the original.
Yes.
I had a comment, and I'm a yarn shop owner, and I will say that we take a hard line stand on people coming in and asking. It doesn't happen very often. That's the first thing I'll say. And I think it is just because we've been in business 5 years, and we sell a ton of books, and I stock as many, really nice saleable leaflets as I can. I can't sell everything, obviously nobody can. And I do refer people to places like Ravelry and online sites, because we can't do everything. But I will tell you that yarn shop owners are a serious issue, because when people come in, what they will say is, "Oh, can you copy it?" And I'll say, "No." And of course, it's everything I can do not to get on my soapbox. And they'll say, "Oh, well, my shop, Okay. So I will just say here and now that yarn shop owners are still a major break in the chain here, and they are very guilty. A lot of them, maybe they're old school, I don't know. I know a lot of yarn shop owners don't carry books anymore. I think this is a big, I don't know if it's a trend, but I know that a lot of yarn shop owners have stopped doing that. A lot of them are not even carrying leaflets. And I know that there's a yarn shop owner in my vicinity, in my metro area, and she always is constantly copying patterns. So I just think that that's something to be aware of, because Jill's this is a yarn shop owner, you guys know, and it's to me, most designers are small, women-owned enterprises. No matter how big of a designer you are, you may make 6 figures off of it, but the bottom line is that you have to start somewhere. And most yarn shop owners, to generalize, are women. And it's like taking food off of somebody's plates. I just think it's heinous. And so, it's like, we're going to hold out your soapbox. But I just want you to be aware, that yarn shop owners are a problem.
I hate to get on my phone as soapbox here, but does anybody else think that this is an issue of, like you said, these are mostly women, and this is a problem with women not valuing their work? Not valuing their own work and not valuing the work of other women. That, traditionally men were artists and did craft, and women just had hobbies or whatever, or did it to clothe their family. You know what I mean? A little bit less. I don't know. I just get the feeling that it is a sex issue.
It minimizes and belittles everybody's, whatever you do in this industry, it really does minimize what you do.
Can I say something? Yeah. I really don't think it's gender-based one way or the other as far as evaluation goes. I really believe that. I have a job like Uni up there, in that I am put in a position where I have to protect a group of people. I am taking designs that I have seen from different designers. I have to deal with my integrity and make sure that what I use, I protect. What I don't use, I send back to those designers. And I forget about what they sent me, because I can't take their idea and turn it into something else. When you talk about piracy, I know what you're talking about. It's happened to me many times. Over here, Chris, you said